higher gossip.
No, for a long time I am not using money, but I start to try to use money because I thought that I became an asshole. I was like, thought I was better than other persons from not using it. And so I am like, but I don't want to be so better and separate. So I start using it to be more compromised. So for a time I was trying to be buying things on purpose so I can be you know the little bird, the orlaton. The orlaton is a little French bird, and you are eating the little French bird. You have to cover your face with a black cloth, and you consume the little bird. It is like almost extinct, this bird, and the last president is doing it, and you have to cover because it is a sin in front of God to do it, and you eat the bird, and it's while it is still alive. And its little bones lacerate inside your mouth and the flavors goes into your mouth. Money is the same. And money, it becomes God, and God is a tool. God is nothing but a tool for how we are connecting with each other. Money is the same. Ever that you have seen the film Homotopia?
No.
It's like a little short. It's like 20 minutes, but actually it's quite good. It's one of these like anti-gay marriage, like radical queer cinema.
Yeah,
good.
But how does that explain why this girl had a rainbow swastika on her back?
No, it's not. It's like more about what are we talking about before, which become the question of like what the narrative and like narrative flowing has to do with deism.
Oh. What does narrative flow have to do with deism?
I'm thinking that perhaps it is like the more it is a person like believing in a power that undergirds and holding like the universe. This is a narrative power. This become like the formal landscape of the topography of narrative, of like the narrative flow, the flowing, yeah. And actually that if are you not so much thinking in this way, actually it become easier for embody this kind of actually like non-narrative perspective that become actually for most person quite like irritating, I think.
Yeah. You irritate a lot of people. And that's one of the things I love about you. Because you irritate people in part, it seems to me, from just like having an excess joy.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like whenever you irritate someone, it's not because you yourself are irritated that I've experienced. But like,
no, but this is very like giving.
I think it's annoying to see somebody just like kind of doing their thing.
But I think like reasonably, like you can say if the person is doing a thing and like they are a person of privilege and they are like, you see a privileged person like really enjoying their life, like really being themselves, like of course it's annoying. Like you're like, sure. Great, you're having such a great time in life. Good thing you had a nice childhood and like you've not got the trauma, you're not so worried. It's easy for you to like being it, having fine times.
Yeah, and that narrative is very impressive upon many people. And many people want to make themselves miserable because of that narrative.
It is this, like...
But I sense that even though you buy into that narrative to some reason...
Buying it?
Buy into it.
But how buying in?
Like, well, I don't know. Maybe you don't. But I was just going to end that sentence by saying that whether or not you think that it's reasonable or unreasonable for you to have joy. You kind of have it anyway.
Like for me, I think maybe become more about like reckless abandon, maybe in terms of, because like this, I think question of buying it become like you think of selling and like of commerce in general. Yeah. And I think like,
your accent is German now.
Yeah, it changed. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's true.
You think there's going to be a civil war?
So, okay. Right now is happening, like, let us, like, are we talking here? Actually, the civil war, it starts. Like, they are finding, what are you, like, maybe it's proper, we can make best case and worst case scenario projections.
Yeah, okay, here's my best case scenario. Split into two different things. One of the things is the United States of America, and the other thing is the United Federation of Chazes. And you have the City Hall Autonomous Zone in Portland, and then the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Washington, D.C.
They're
federated.
Yeah, you have seen the NYC Chaz.
No, where is it?
No, but they did it. Actually, it was called, because here in Seattle, I was in the Chaz here in Seattle.
Yeah.
And like my friend, like, is a writer who has become like this, like, you know, this like anarchist writer. He becomes like, he writes the temporary autonomous zone. I'm calling him, this is actually another podcast, but, so but the Chaz, like, it was annoying. It was an annoying place.
Of course.
And, cool, like in lots of ways, like cool, of course.
What was cool about it?
Like, okay, what is cool about it is that it is happening in like the number one central, like, night clubbing part of Seattle. It's like,
are the nightclubs open?
No, because there is pandemic.
Right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, right? Yeah. Also remember, there is
but hold on. Does lockdown apply in Chaz? Like, has anybody voted on that by snapping?
Okay. So I think that it is like there, it's like, actually, we are seeing a emergence of like the mask become like, it's a defacializing health structure. Okay,
it's a defacializing health structure.
And yes, and but the leader, the personage of the organizer is needing to project charisma. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is like a give and take of, like, ironically, the like Seattle, I think, is like, it is like 7% black persons. Okay. Like 7, like, is not a lot. And also in this neighborhood, this same neighborhood, this is like gentrified from, like, it's right, kind of on the edge of the central district, which is like the historically black neighborhood that is being gentrified by queer punks, come, like petty bourgeois, like gay marriage activists. Yeah. That, like, so there is this weird flux and sweep of the gentrification of the neighborhood and evil warlord pimp.
Right.
Yeah.
This goes back, I remember years and years and years ago, my friend, I don't know what to call you, but I remember years and years and years ago, we would have arguments about anarchism. And I would always say, like, imagine, 10 people on a desert island.
No, right? It is this, and I'm noticing.
But listen, like 10 people on a desert island, and you're like, okay, we're all anarchists. And then the strong one is like, yeah, I'm even more of an anarchist than the rest of you because I believe that none of you have any rights to any of your property.
But I think actually is more bad, is more stupid even. Like actually is more pathetic. Like you are just imagining, just think that it is you and like maybe 10 of your friends, your best friends. You go together in the Ozarks or in, somewhere.
The Ozarks.
Yeah, you're there. You got some land.
Okay, well, we'll shelve this. Keep going, sorry.
There's lots to shelf. You got some land in the Ozarks, and then like you are there, your 10 best friends, the dozen, what is it called? Is a baker's dozen is 11? A baker's dozen is 13. What kind of dozen is 11? What kind of dozen is 11?
11 is a pauper's dozen.
The pauper's dozen become like you're there in the Ozarks, and how long it takes for that you're just all fighting and hating each other?
It would depend.
But carefully you select your best persons.
Well, it would depend what sort of society we're met with in the Ozarks.
No, you are alone. You are alone in your utopic commune.
Oh, I see. How long? 3 months.
You think so long?
You think it'd be shorter?
Immediately much shorter, I think.
Well, whenever I'm faced with a situation like this, I tend to really withdraw. And I feel like I could sort of...
You stop helping?
Yeah, like we lived in a communal situation together.
Right. Okay, remember? So actually we are the two of us. How long has it been we have not seen each other?
4 years.
Is a long time.
I saw you in your studio when you had all that incredible shit.
Which one? The basement?
Yeah, the basement.
You came to it?
Yeah, and you were sleeping on yeah, I sleep on this hammock. There's too many mice.
Look. Oh, but I can't do it. Oh, fuck. Here it is.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, but you saw this there?
I don't remember what I saw. I just remember feeling like I was in just like a fucking Jodorowsky film or something.
But I'm living always like this. Always I'm living this way.
Well, no, because when we lived together, you just didn't have enough room to have so much bizarre, creepy shit.
I am not think so actually, because another time afterwards, I live in a smaller place, like most recently in New York. Before I break up with my partner and go out touring and leave the place.
Yeah.
I'm living in a little basement room where actually like it is like, it's so small I cannot stand up in it. Like I cannot stand up straight in the room. You didn't come to this one.
No.
Yeah, but this one was packed, just like so much shit in it. And wow.
When did you first start making strange things out of trash?
But always I did it. I think actually always.
Can you remember the first thing?
Okay, so here, but always I did it. But the first thing that I made it and I put it into the publics, it was like, I think am I 11 or maybe am I 12? I have 12 years. And, as a little person, I'm sort of obsessed with, the cows.
Uh-huh.
And I make a cow from like sticks and cardboard box and some milk things. Like it's more like recycling maybe than it is garbage, because now I'm against recycling. But I put it there onto the like suburban like island there in the street, and in the middle of the night, I'm 11, I sneak out, I've painted, I put this like crude cow animal there.
How big is this cow?
Maybe the box, for all of our audio listeners out there, the box is like bigger than a bread box, and smaller than...
That's the important rubric.
Yeah.
I want to know its size in relation to a bread box.
Yeah, like, okay, but actually how usually that I will do it is like when I see persons, like you're thinking, like if you were to make a mold in wax or plastic of the cow and you blend up Like how tall you are?
6'2".
6'2", yeah, okay. A nice tall guy. What pronouns you are using?
What products?
Well, you are really flexing nicely.
Thank you.
Do you want to see my stuff?
Depends what you mean by stuff.
Anyways, if you were to blend up you and like pour your blended body into the mold of the cow, I
Yeah.
think it will overflow it by a third.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a substantial cow.
It is like, the conceit is that it is an adult cow, but for my small body at the time, it was adult, the cow.
Had you ever seen a cow?
Not really. Not like properly, you're there with the cow gazing into its beautiful pastoral eyes.
Yeah, I've milked a cow.
I have not did it. I only milked,
I'm not sure I want to know what all you've milked in your lifetime.
but there was this drama with this cow that I put into the neighborhood.
What happened?
It's not that interesting, but recently I found something else.
No, but what happened?
So I think actually the cow, it is staying there for some weeks even, and like it is perched there quietly, and suddenly one day, I think a person in the neighborhood is only cul-de-sac, only like the island, yeah?
Yeah.
And a person comes and they make a big barn there. And to be like a crash, and
Well, yeah, because what is the cow going to do in the rain?
exactement, ouais. And it becomes so actually someday this person, I not know who it is. I come out and the cow is like in ruins, like totally destroyed, like totally, someone has like really dismembered completely, is like just wrecked. And I'm quite sad about it. Like, I'm like, who would do this? Like, who would do this thing bad? But, in a couple of days, somebody make a big, actually a gravestone for the cow.
Really?
Yeah. And it say, because I put on the cow a little name, it say Betsy. Like Betsy was the name of the cow. And, it become, actually later, the gravestone it say Betsy, and it have the dates. And, the alarm. But, so I make another cow. Littler is like this child, the child of the cow, for like to make the person feel like, but it's a whole, like you kill it and it have a child actually.
Calf is our word in English.
You are saying calf?
Calf.
But I thought that calf is this.
Well, that's also a calf.
It's, how it is called, the word that have different meaning, but it's the same word?
Homophone.
A homophone. What is a heterophone?
I don't think there are heterophones.
It's not existing. That is just like different words.
Yeah, it's kind of a homonormative thing.
Okay, that's too bad. But so the calf, it is called Yogurt, and Yogurt lives there also for some time. And I think like Yogurt, sometimes it disappears. But recently, I begin again to put things there on this same, like along, like some decades later. And, my cousin and I, when we are young persons, we are 14, we have made a complaints booth for like receiving the complaints of persons, just anything they want for complaining. And again, on Thanksgiving, we have done it. And, person, they come up and they are saying, but is it you from the cow? And they are bringing me actually a tiny, like,
Did anybody complain about the cow?
no, they are loving this.
Okay.
They are like, this has become like this kind of legend in this like neighborhood. Like it become this like hugely, like it become like what make the neighborhood unique. And and they are bringing me this tiny photograph that is like one, how you are saying, maybe it is 3 centimeter, maybe it is an inch, and like a Polaroid, but little. And I have not got any image of this cow except for this tiny photograph they have given it to me. Maybe I took a picture of it. I can send for you. Could be it is the image for the podcast.
When I've watched you in certain videos explain the work you do, or the things you do, or the things you don't do, you've talked about being incredibly bored with the world, or it just feeling so alien or opposed to the world that you just want to act insane. Was that your motivation at the age of 11?
Is it better if I'm lying?
No.
Okay, maybe...
But you can.
Right, how can you?
How can you lie?
Anyways, I'm thinking that there is 2 things from like being a child that settle into my like philosophy from it.
Yeah.
And one is actually automobiles, and like looking at the different automobiles and thinking, but why is it these automobiles, they are looking very similar? Like,
I think I remember having that question as well.
you know, like, how is it
You
that
just watch one car and then another car.
they're really
Yeah.
similar? And I was like, but is it not that there is some different cars?
Right. Right.
Like, they're looking very similar, but a lot of persons seem to like really care, like that these tiny differences in the cars.
Yeah.
And like, basically it is the same, but like some it is like a little bit, and like in other countries, sometimes they are looking a little bit different, but it's like, the differences, it is like, is not imperceptible, but like, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
And then also this thing of, we are going shopping into the grocery stores, and all the other persons, they are checking out, buying the groceries, and they are very much, they are treating the checkers, like they're like, yes, here, $50, thank you, goodbye. But my parents, they are really quite intimate with the shoppers, with the tellers. They're really quite like, yes. And there is one named Cricket. She's like a big woman, a sort of older, fat woman. And she like was my friend as a little person. And I think it affects me, this kind of visceral noticing of, we can call it alienation of labor. But
Sure.
It reminds me, I want to share.
Coin a phrase.
Yeah, I want to share a quote from Karl Marx. Which,
I'll allow it.
yeah, it is, usually this quote is misquoted. I want to read you the original quote.
Okay.
It goes, actually, I will put into the chat and you will read it.
No, you have to read it. All right. How long is it?
There it is.
You've even spelled it wrong.
No, I copied it from the internet.
Oh, well, then it must be perfect. Okay, yeah, you're right. Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of a heartless world, and the soul of soulless conditions. It is the opium of the people.
Okay, but this is really different from saying religion is the opiate of the masses.
Yeah.
This is like a huge difference from this.
Yeah. You know the Hemingway story, The Gambler, the Nun, the Radio?
I forgot. I have done forgetting.
Well, it ends with, there's this man in a hospital, and he's talking to a revolutionary Marxist Mexican fellow.
Annoying guy.
Yeah, he's a little annoying.
Marxists,
but,
they're flat. Marxists it is they're flat.
It's their what?
They're flat. They're like topographically two-dimensional.
That's interesting. You know, I was talking to my friend Dan on the last podcast about Marx, and I brought up this guy Ivan Illich. I feel like you,
yeah, of course, yeah,
of course, you would love him, of course. But in the end of the story, he just has this funny quip where he's like, "And so why shouldn't the people be anesthetized? What is it that you want to do to the people?"
But it is this that actually I am involved in a reading group now. I'm reading a couple, actually, I mean like 3 reading groups, maybe 4, but we are reading a book about the Zapatistas in Mexico, and they are bringing up these quotes, and this, I will say it, a philosopher into the group, he says that if you are trying for be taking religion from the people, it is the heart of the heartless world and the soul of the soulless conditions. You have got to like replace it with something.
Right.
You can't take it and replace it with this even more flat materialism. No.
Right.
Then the world is really empty.
And there's, of course, the Chesterton quote, and I think it's actually wrong, or he didn't say it, but he might as well have said it, because he said many things like it, that if you stop believing in God, you'll believe in anything. But I think this is just, we're talking around the question of a transcendent thing, right?
Okay, I am making a Venn diagram. And I'm wanting for that you can decode it, maybe?
Okay, but here's what I want to ask you. I think you mentioned I want to talk about your family's Christianity.
Oh, okay.
Were your parents Quakers?
No, I think actually that my parent, it is different from what is the rest of my family.
Okay.
Probably it is proper to say, but like some of it is that they are like Congregationalists, which is like, I think Barack Obama is a Congregationalist. It is like in leftist Protestantism, Congregationalism, actually is like just a little bit, and becoming the Congregationalism just one step less, how you are saying it, like crazed, wild-eyed than the Unitarians.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's like Unitarian Universalist.
But a little bit more Jesus.
Right, but you haven't taken Jesus out.
There is still Jesus.
For those who want him. So your parents are Congregationalists?
I think actually it is, yes, yeah, but, and like basically it is still this, but, and like actually I was baptized when that I was, I think, because my parents, they are believing in some things and not believing in some other things. So I'm baptized when I am 11.
Oh, it's interesting.
I chose it, and then later I re-chose it. And
remember, we had talks about you baptizing me.
no, but I'm a priest.
Are you?
Are you not still baptized?
Correct.
Okay, we can do it now.
No, because you can only do it under extraordinary circumstances.
But there is a pandemic and a civil war. Put your head up to the Zoom camera.
No, I'm not doing it over Zoom, man.
Look.
Are you going to baptize me right now against my will?
But they are doing this.
It's like a Flannery O'Connor novel.
But they have done it.
I'm going to get more coffee. You talk, but I'm just going to get
They
more
have
coffee.
done. You have heard the Mormons. You know the Mormons. They have done baptizing for the dead. Yeah, and they are baptizing Anne Frank, and they are like, but they have done maybe 20 baptisms of Anne Frank. But Anne Frank's descendants, all of her descendants are like But she is Jewish. Why you are baptizing her? Like, that is rude, actually. And it seems like it's possible that we can do the same kind of baptism for the dead, maybe with gender pronouns, like Abraham Lincoln, actually he was gay. Abraham Lincoln, and maybe we can like say Abraham Lincoln actually is using different pronouns.
I actually suspected that because there's this Abraham Lincoln impersonator in Washington Square. And I kind of got those vibes from him.
What pronouns vibes?
Oh, just that there was more to All Honest Abe than we read about in the history books.
No, but a lot. He was gay.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Abraham Lincoln, just what I saw in the Steven Spielberg movie.
My friend
and I know his famous quotation, "If you're a racist, then we will attack you with the North."
Okay, I'm going to pee, but I'm bringing you.
Oh, okay, good.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I was worried I was going to have to talk without you.
No. But you can talk. Pretend I'm not here.
No, I don't want to. I wouldn't be up to that.
I should pee outside or inside?
Well, I certainly don't have the answer to that.
No, you must answer.
Outside. I want to see some sunshine.
Okay. It is dark. Here is the sunshine.
Oh, there's no sunshine.
There's a little. Oof.
But I wonder, you've also told me that, like, well, I don't know how personal I'm allowed to get.
Right, maybe I can decide it.
Yeah, well, I know that your family has a school that they started.
Okay.
Are you cool talking about that?
It's a really special thing, but is there like is the question about pedagogy?
It's more just like, well, because I went to one of those little weirdo schools when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that affected me profoundly, or whether it just so happened that was the right situation for me.
Yeah.
But my God, I was just happy as a clam. Like, nobody bothered me. I got to just study what I wanted to study at my own pace, right? I was really into marsupials. I was really into, like, memorizing the elements. I don't know what all I was into. But it just really worked for me. And then they were like, okay, you have to go to regular school now, and you're like 2 years younger than everyone else.
And you are going to this boarding school in Vermont?
This was before boarding school.
Okay.
I just transitioned from a Montessori school.
It is a Montessori, okay. Not a Waldorf,
I went
it is
when
a Montessori.
when I was a little kid. Only up to age, like, I don't even know, like 8?
Yeah.
9, but then I went to like regular school, and I was 2 years too young.
Yeah.
Because at Montessori, they were like, "Oh, do everything at your own pace," right?
Right.
And so they were, I don't know what the thinking was.
No, but yeah.
But I'm like, oh, did that make me this little antisocial monster that I remain to this day? Or was I just like that, and it was just a good situation for me?
Yeah, but it is like, this is
in a
not...
parallel way, I'm wondering if this sort of special schooling made you a little antisocial monster, or whether you were always like that.
Okay, I'm thinking of it in terms of... so I am finding a stamp that I have carved as a child that it says... like no cause and effect, that there is not a cause and effect. And of course, like persons, they are saying, oh, but where it come from, your ideas.
Right.
And the pedagogy, but it becomes I think it becomes about like probabilities and the multiverse, for instance. So the more improbable circumstance is more probable it will lead to an even more improbable circumstance. Right?
Like,
so
no, I don't really know what you're saying.
If your grandfather, he grows up living in a chicken house, and then he goes to Yale, like the chances of that he is founding a little school with his wife, and they are living in the woods like sort of weird, sort of hippies, and then their kids are sort of a little bit weirder, and this society is becoming more permissive, and then then it is but then the problem of like the weirdness can be that is talked about as just sort of Western individualist egoism.
Right.
So maybe it is special, but maybe it is just extra hyper-colonialism.
I don't know if we need to bring colonialism into it.
Yeah, in my co-counseling...
Here's what I want to know, though.
Yeah.
Did you find... Like, there's a civil war beginning today.
Okay, let's read the news really quick.
Yeah, how...
Last I read, there is
take on that?
there is MAGA persons. They're like in Nancy Pelosi's office right now, on her desk, like rummaging through her stuff.
Yeah, I read that they're taking hard drives.
National Guard secures Capitol. Take his Twitter. Nation shaken to core.
We're not shaken to the core.
No, we're okay.
We should be.
Because this country, like...
Do you believe in democracy?
Not at all.
Not at all? Oh, that surprises me.
But, okay, to be clear...
Inequality?
But to be clear, like, fundamentally, the thing I am not believing in is I don't believe in discrete objects.
Explain what you mean by that.
I don't believe that this and this is like... There is no way to say there is different.
My associate's currently holding up a pink lighter and a USB stick.
To describe the boundaries of the self.
But tell me what that has to do with democracy.
What is it? So now, one of my ancestors becomes like really interested in Adorno, and they're thinking Adorno postulate that actually it is democracy what gets fascism, right? It is like we are living in a world, a part of this society that believe the most important thing is freedom, and the freedom, it is more important than the survival.
Right, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
But really curved. Yeah, I do, but it is really curved, the Maslow. They have really taken the Maslow and really bent it wrong.
Well, no, because once, it's like...
I know what you're saying.
All it takes is one generation of not having survival as a given to be like, oh yeah, survival is important.
Okay, I hear it, but you are thinking of human persons, okay? Like but because in the last 50 years, it has been that I think 70% of the life is gone.
Tell me what you mean by that.
So statistically, it becomes from 1970 until now. It differs in different spheres of bioorganic life, right? But so from 1970 until today, we have lost. Like I am saying, we have lost. Like actually, we misplaced it. But like, no, it is we are killing it, right? And it is.
But how big a deviation from the mean is that?
So from 1970 until today, 2020, the overthrow of the United States institution, we have lost 83% of freshwater biomass. Okay, so it is not across the chart the same, but saying, and it is 70% in general of living animals. Plant life, I think it is different, but generally speaking, if there was 100 lions in 1970, today there is 30 lions. Okay, is not to say that 70% of animals there is extinct, but the biomass, it is reduced this much.
I see. So,
but it is different by different species.
If there were 2 lions in 1970 and there's 1 lion today.
No, but now if there are 2 lions,
I mean, we lost 50% of the biomass.
Yes, exactly. But actually, if there was 2 lions in 1970, now there would be 3/5 of 1 lion.
Right. But maybe it's just that lions are getting thinner.
But it's statistically different. So different persons have got maybe 99% of a certain species of parrot, it is gone. Right. And only 20% of a certain species of fish, it is gone. But the mean, the average, it become in different zones. So in freshwater, it is 83%, but in general, it is about 70%, right? And so I can trace it. I think you trace it looking at ecological collapse. And I think in this way, I'm sorry to be so cynical, but to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and I was there all summer, okay? I believe it. It's important to locate the subaltern, in terms of, we can codify, start in a certain place and move from there. But in a certain cynical perspective, the Black Lives Matter movement can be described as an America First movement. In terms of the person is yelling. I've seen it happen where the person is yelling, but you're caring about Black lives, but what about Palestinian lives? And they're like, get off, leave.
It's interesting how all of these movements they do follow the pattern of exporting an American way of thinking. Even feminism, this kind of this lean-in feminism, it comes to Europe 9 months later, or maybe more than that, 2 years later.
Yeah.
I'm now starting to see Italian friends. I'll be sipping from embrace the matriarchy mugs.
It is the same as it is the same to say the Karenization of feminism, but I think that the Karen is a helpful discourse in a way, right? You have got the shrieking, racist feminist, the feminist shrew.
I don't know if that's a very nice word.
Shrew. But 70% it is gone,
Well, when I think the Karen discourse is about, I don't even know if I would call it a discourse.
No, but it is. It is helpful to identify this caricature.
Is it?
Yes, it is helpful to identify. Well, it's not helpful, of course, to caricaturize in general, but to create a legible archetype of a person who enacts racism, who leverages their particular privilege under the guise of their oppression to oppress others. It is important to notice it.
Yeah, I think there's just too much generalization going around. And I think...
Definitely, this is part of being old. It's cool to be old because the more old you are being, is really more difficult to say Marxism is flat or feminism is shrewish or whatever these things. You can't do it.
Yeah. I guess we've always had to generalize to some degree, but I feel there's a certain, people really get a lot of pleasure these days from sort of identifying, you used the word archetype, but maybe a stereotype Maybe they always have.
I think it is really like there is no like humans. We are looking for the patterns,
Of course.
and so it's but
But I want to know what biomass has to do with democracy.
is like democracy. You've read what is it? Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah.
In the Slaughterhouse, in the end, the guys are walking around the ruins and they're like elated, like after World War II, this feeling of like we fucking did it, we beat them. Amazing.
I don't remember that.
But I think ecofascism, like this ecofascism is the feeling of like maybe if the Nazis are winning, like at least he was vegetarian. Like there is, like maybe there is a better, maybe the world is better cared for. Like that, how much democracy begets this kind of individualist opulence that like when you are valuing freedom in this way, it becomes like, of course you are using the resources, but it becomes anthropocentric democracy. Yeah. So of course, like if you're looking at, but I think it also fundamentally is white supremacist, because the democracy becomes, it is a hierarchized democracy.
Well, I've heard some people describe democracy as oligarchy in which the real center of power is hidden.
So I think it is like this, especially now. So democracy is changing with big data, because there is not free will. Okay, there is not a free will, and it is because the swing voter, I'm thinking he is the most normal American. To be a swing voter now, you have to be really like centrist, really like impossibly middle of the road. You disagree?
I don't know what the swing voter of 2020 would be.
Okay, so here's my, maybe you're maybe
it's like the, well, I mean, it's really not important. Here's something I want to know.
No, but quickly, if you'll disagree with that, the swing voter is especially vulnerable to advertising, because I'm wondering if that the swing voter is perhaps the most vulnerable to advertising. In this case, if this is true, that the most centrist swing voter is the most normal and therefore the most accessible and vulnerable to mathematized advertising, then of course democracy becomes obsolete, because you just put in the money into the advertisements and you change him.
Right, and the question was it ever any better than that?
The American
democracy.
But okay, so I think that
because you've always been able to lead the people by the nose to some degree.
I think it is interesting.
Do you think, my friend, there was voter fraud?
Like I'm saying, I think the biggest voter fraud is advertising.
That was a nice way to punt on the question.
I think it is this. I think because it is not, like, the idea of democracy is contingent upon the idea of free will. And if you're not having it, then it is sort of like, it is just actually math and money. And
but do you think the Democratic Party stuffed the ballots?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, just curious.
But it's fine. It can be.
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised.
I don't care.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I don't care if they've done it. Like, it is a story.
Would you describe yourself as an anarchist?
I'm trying always for stopping, and then I realize that my favorite... I've realized, I think, anarchism, it is actually not, it's not a political form, but it is just a sense of humor.
That's not true.
No, I think so. I think it's a particularly...
Just make words mean what they want.
No, because this is like...
But you do get to do that. That's what your whole life is about.
Oh, stop. But this is the axis across which I associate with with persons, it's like, oh, but this sense of humor is different. Like, and it is these persons that have got the same sense, and it is a politicized sense of humor. But like, I'm trying always for doing a series of interviews with ex-anarchists, but ex-anarchists are nice.
What did they become after?
Just sort of sad. Sort of like, I see the complexity.
I used to be an anarchist, but now I'm sad.
Yeah.
What do you think of Antifa?
Bros. Antifa.
This is good. This could be like a quick hit section.
But Antifa, here's what it is like. Antifa, you remember the Pope in Europe in Middle Ages? He declares, he notices that there is like a surplus of young men who is like filled with testosterone, and they are messing up Europe because of how inheritance it is working. And there's like the first son inherits, the second son is nothing, and he goes around causing problems. And he's like, let's make a crusade to have spending the energy. Spending this masculine, it's the same. It's Antifa, MAGA, it is this crusade energy.
Right.
I don't believe in energy, to be clear, but like...
The real question is, will at any point any of this cease being LARPing? And I think the answer is no, because I think there's not enough strength or discipline or vision or imagination to replace what is obvious to anyone with eyes to see and ears to hear, a completely decrepit and corrupt form of power that we've got over us.
But it is different.
Here in the United States of America.
It is changing, or it is like... Why?
That's my question. That's my question. I mean, we talk about,
Why I'm not a Marxist.
This like excess testosterone. It's like, I mean, okay, like Trump 3 hours ago, it's January 6th, 2021, Donald Trump said, go home, right? He said to these people who stormed the Capitol building, go home. What if he hadn't said go home? What if he had said, like, game's on? Like, we're doing the coup. Game's on.
Twitter just suspends Trump's account.
Wow. So is he saying game's on right now?
I would check his Twitter, but...
Well, because, I mean, a few hours ago, I saw that he was saying, like, go home. Like, okay, like, the election's a fraud, but please go home. And, wow, they just suspended it, huh?
How many persons do you think they have died from coronavirus today?
Today?
Here in our country.
Oh, that's a loaded question. I don't fucking know, man.
I think it is peak COVID every day.
You mean you think every day there's more COVID deaths?
It seems like we are on an everyday more peak.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been following the stats closely, so I can't speak on that.
We're crawling up. We're like trying to get up to number 13 in deaths per million.
Just suspended Trump. I mean, but so yeah. I mean, did you register my question? Like, right? Like, if Trump had said "game's on," there wouldn't have been like there's no Napoleon. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, I have got the perfect response for your question.
But if one were to come along, he'd be due. Or she.
Okay, but I got to play it from the computer, because if I play it from the phone, then it not records.
Oh wow, I'm watching videos of police and protesters just wailing on each other on the steps of the Capitol.
But it's MAGA protesters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of a guy like with a plastic bag on his head. Have you seen this shit?
No, I did not see it.
Here, I'll email it to you.
Okay.
I mean, this is like...
Hello? Hello? If we could just go over some of the numbers, I think it's... Hello?
Here.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 loves, which is one more than we have. No. 11,780 loves that we need. No. 11,780 votes to win the election. No. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break, please. No, sir. Dead people, no phony ballots, no women.
I'm sorry.
Here's the headline on Twitter.
Okay.
Woman dies after being shot
Yeah.
at U.S. Capitol.
Yeah, I saw it.
The news.
I saw her face.
I mean, do you not find it just... I don't know what the word is.
Okay. Okay.
Just how that's phrased. They won't even say, because it doesn't vibe with the prevailing sentiment. They won't say they killed this woman.
No, it is math. It is math.
Woman dies after being shot.
I am
It's totally
thinking
impersonal.
that the only truth is math, because Palestine, I have three things for saying it. One is completely different, but in Palestine, they are doing trades for prisoners with Israel. And one Israeli soldier is worth 1,000. They are doing 3 Israeli soldiers for 3,000, right? Actually, the violence is quite small. Actually, the violence we are having here is quite small. And we make a big deal of it because of white supremacist culture, where our lives are worth so much. And in the COVID, it is similar.
What does that have to do with white supremacist culture?
Because they are American lives. But better, I've got this.
Yeah, I don't know if white supremacist culture is the best heuristic for understanding why we value our lives so much. But
Okay.
Continue. Sorry.
But I want to know, but this I have here. Do you know what it is?
Oh, it's like a fucking kiwi.
No.
Kumquat.
This thing, it is called a rows of... What is the city where the walls fall down from the trumpeting in the Bible?
Jericho?
Yes, it is a rose of Jericho. And it's from Palestine, and it's quite dry. It is a kind of tumbleweed, and it is a kind of resurrection plant. And you're putting it in water, and you put it in water, and it becomes this.
Oh wow, that's so beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture with the guy with the bag over his head?
Let me look for it. I think for some reason I always respond really badly to what if scenarios. I become really recalcitrant when persons asking me but what if it is different?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, there is no such thing as...
I know it is annoying. I know that I am not good. It's
No. I mean...
Is COVID? It is for COVID?
Here's something.
Why is he this?
that's in the Capitol. He's hiding from protesters with that grotesque bag on his head.
But how can we make it? How can we make this common? How can we make... This is the new...
Everyone should be wearing that.
Yeah, this is the new coutre. This is the new
Wow, you really pronounced that word so well, being a native French person.
Yeah. No, but my accent is also in diaspora. But wait,
No,
the second photo, he has a completely different haircut. How is it? It's the same photo, except from one photo to the next, a completely different haircut. You saw it?
No.
Scroll down, scroll down.
Okay. You emailed it to me?
No, it's the same link. You're sending it on Twitter.
Let me look. I don't know. Maybe he got a haircut while he was in the,
Little
man's gotta
perm.
get a haircut.
Okay.
What are you talking about? A different haircut? It's the same. It's just he's got sweaty inside the thing, so his hair is like slicked.
Is he the whole time standing there? So I want to talk about God, love, ontology, thermodynamics, literature, why you want to were interviewing me, and if you're having any criticism for me, and to consider if we will transition, and there's
Well,
one.
I have an anecdote that speaks to all of those things, which is that when we shared a room in like a kind of basement. I don't really know how to describe it. It wasn't a basement.
It was the back of an old converted parking garage.
Yeah, it was like a nice garage,
but
like
partitioned into 16 separate main forest homes.
God damn, it wasn't 16, was it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It was like 7.
No. I can count.
There were not 16 different rooms.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At least there is 11.
Okay.
And several of the rooms have 2 persons.
And we lived in the same, and we were living for cheap. It was $250 a month.
That is mostly I'm paying this in New York.
And it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. But you would tape these huge pieces of paper to the wall, and you would write things like meat prosthesis, dog made out of Cheez-Its, man with no nose and 7 feet. And I'd be like, oh great, like this guy's a fucking psycho, like he's just writing shit on the wall. And then, like a day later, like meat prosthesis would be crossed out, and lo and behold, like on the shelf, there'd be a fucking meat prosthesis. And this was very inspiring to me, because I kind of didn't know until then. I'm like, oh, you can just have an idea and just do it, which sounds very banal, but I think it's something people often forget. It's like, if you're imagining a meat prosthesis, you can just make a meat prosthesis. Like, maybe it's not going to be a good meat prosthesis. Maybe nobody's going to like the meat prosthesis. But at least you can just, you just had this huge list, and you would cross it off.
I'm a lister.
It would be like a list of 50 things.
I'm
I
a
would
real
make
lister.
lists, but I wouldn't cross it off. And so I don't really have a point to that, but I just thought that was interesting.
No, you're right. It does address God, love, ontology, thermodynamics, literature.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd deal with all those in one fell swoop.
No, you got it. Now it's there on the floor, useless to us.
Yeah.
You crossed it off, all at once.
I crossed it off.
You bring it. How it is called? What it is called when you're bringing Satan?
Exorcism?
No, making it flesh.
Succubus?
Incarnation. To become meat.
To become meat.
Incarnation. Carne, it means meat. To incarnation, to become meat. Jesus is doing it. And then you are eating it.
How long did you go? Because I remember when I first met you, I feel like you weren't using money.
No, for a long time I am not using money, but I start to try to use money because I thought that I became an asshole. I was like, thought I was better than other persons from not using it. And so I am like, but I don't want to be so better and separate. So I start using it to be more compromised. So for a time I was trying to be buying things on purpose so I can be like, the little bird, the orlaton. The orlaton is a little French bird, and you are eating the little French bird. You have to cover your face with a black cloth, and you consume the little bird. It is like almost extinct, this bird, and the last president is doing it, and you have to cover because it is a sin in front of God to do it, and you eat the bird, and while it is still alive, and its little bones lacerate inside your mouth and the flavors goes into your mouth. Money is the same. And money, it become God, and God is a tool. God is nothing but a tool for how we are connecting with each other. Money is the same. But I am not so much an atheist.
That's really beautiful. Is that true about that bird?
Yeah, it's called the orlaton.
And you eat it with the bones and you lacerate your mouth with it?
And so the flavor seeps into you.
Good Lord.
But I want to recommend a book for you.
Your countrymen, the French, they're really a bunch of animals.
I am not sure if they are more animals or objects.
But so what was the longest stretch you went without using money?
I am not knowing. I don't know it. Well, no, but I do know it.
Estimate
so
for me.
I hitchhiked from Seattle to Patagonia, and I know that from leaving Seattle to getting to Tijuana, I spent $1.
What did you spend it on?
A donut, kind of like a donut thing in the hippie co-op in Arcata, California.
Did you like eating trash?
It is so weird now. I have not eaten trash for a really long time. This is the longest I've ever went without eating trash.
How long is that?
Like almost 10 months.
Yeah.
I'm taking it seriously, the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, that's why you're not eating trash.
Yeah. I really am I think, I really think that I feel very much the Cassandra of it, because I am like, okay, they're wearing masks, like they shut down China, it's going everywhere. And everyone was like, not cool. And I went to New Orleans and was like, you guys, this is the last party. And everyone was like, what do you mean? I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, there was a weird... everything's so fucking weird, my friend.
Is it?
Yeah, the supposed experts were saying, go to Chinese New Year. It's racist not to go to Chinese New Year. In late January.
But, okay. Okay, here is my question. Okay. I have these problematic questions. Okay.
Yeah, hit me.
What is worse?
I've got unproblematic answers.
Is it worse to use a racial slur or to take an airplane trip?
It's worse to use a racial slur.
Why? Because of the carbon footprint of the racial slur? How many species go extinct from the racial slur?
How many what?
Species become extinct?
Oh, you'd have to ask a zoologist. I know it's a lot.
We ask the zoologist next.
Has the United States ended yet?
Okay, let's look. How will we know it?
That's another good question. Maybe it ended a fucking decade ago.
Baba, what is her name? The Yugoslavian mystic? Baba Vanja. She predicts.
Yugoslavia hasn't existed for like 20 years.
But she was Yugoslavian, but maybe what should I say it that she is Kosovanian? Because now it is transitioned from, now it is not called Mexico City, but, what is it called? CDMX?
It's not called Mexico City?
It's not called District Federal anymore. It is called CDMX. So it is transitioned also Mexico, but you have to retrocursively refer to it as what it has always been, Leningrad. Whatever. She predicts.
No, because it was Petersburg before it was Leningrad.
You know how Karms died?
No.
Daniel Harms, who is, I think, one of my very favorite writers, maybe next to Dambudzo Marchera, he dies. He is arrested as like seditious. Like he is like too weird, into the gulag, and he says, no, but I'm crazy. Don't put me into the gulag, I'm crazy. So they're like, okay, you're crazy, we put you instead of the gulag into the asylum. And during the siege of Stalingrad, or is it Leningrad?
Leningrad.
In the siege of Leningrad, they are not having food, and so they are cutting off food for different persons. And first they have cut off food for asylums. So Daniel Harms, the first absurdist writer, starved to death in an asylum during the Nazi siege of
Leningrad.
Intense, but a cool way to die. I think it is a good way to die. Favorite ways to die?
Oh God, that's the worst way to die.
No, definitely not the worst. Definitely not the worst. Not for a Karms. I think it is nice. Like, I will like it. But for me, also, I think, this is something I think for my life that is different, that I feel happy with my life. I've done the things. So if I am dying, okay. Yeah. I did a lot. I had a great life.
That's beautiful that you feel that way.
Yeah, there's lots of things I want for doing, but
yeah,
no problem.
I'm seeing a rumor that Trump is under arrest.
No!
A rumor.
Who says it?
I can't say.
The Drudge Report says it. National Guard. Calls for Trump removal, escalate, take his Twitter. No, who said it? They got Trump?
It's just a rumor.
Fuck. Okay. I am dressing like him and getting beat up for a living. Yeah?
Yeah. So what my associate is talking about is he put on a suit and there was a sign saying you get to beat up Trump, and there were various options. You could punch, kick, piss on Trump. Was there shit on Trump?
There is a Kentucky Klondike bar and Cleveland Steamer, things like this. But the escalating.
Explain to the folks at home what a Kentucky Klondike bar is.
They can Google it.
Well, I don't know what it is.
I think effectively, I'm a
pretty naive guy.
If you have to go, you freeze it and you can use that frozen thing to do it.
And did anybody do that to you?
I was really hoping that I would have gotten actually himself to do it.
What do you mean actually himself?
Like the king of money, Donald.
Oh, that you would get him to do it to you.
But also
Did anybody piss on you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was my friend, and she did not pay me, but she did it in Union Square, and she hikes up her skirts, and she does it in a cup, and then she throws it on me. But she also was dressed like Trump, but black.
I don't think I would have enjoyed that particularly.
Well, if you are being paid.
Yeah, but you just said she wasn't paying you.
But I thought maybe.
Oh, okay. And did anybody really hit you?
Yeah, there is one guy really went. A couple of people really hit it. And this is on the video.
Did you ever hear the story of the movie Fight Harm by Harmony Korine?
No, tell me. I like him. Okay.
Yeah, this is what he was doing at the height of his drug addiction and degeneracy before he went into rehab. But he had this idea for like the greatest comedy film of all time. And it was the premise. It was just he was going to go up to. It was kind of like a picaresque novel. He was going to go up to people in New York City from all walks of life and just antagonize them as much as he could until they started fighting him. And the rule was he wasn't allowed to hit until he was hit first.
Yeah, I'm the same, except I don't hit.
Yeah, you don't hit ever. I think somebody like broke his like eye socket in like the fourth fight.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a good idea.
But fighting is cool. But fighting is really cool. I used to organize.
He should have just done it as fiction. Like, that's the thing, is like, he was like, no, I actually have to get beat up as many times as possible. And I think David Blaine was the cinematographer.
You have done fighting?
I don't fight back either, man. I mean...
No, but that's okay. You cannot fight back and still do fighting.
I've fought a few times, but the one time it was like I got totally blindsided by this guy at a party who was mad about a girl.
Nice.
And before I knew what was going on, we were sort of being pulled apart.
But one time, a kid like comes up to me on the street. I have my big cart, like my big like garbage cart.
Oh, I think we were living together when this happened.
No, this was different. A kid came up and he hit me in the back of the head with a steel bar.
Jesus Christ. What happened next?
I was fine because I was wearing a helmet. I was wearing a motorcycle helmet covered in spray foam, so I was totally fine.
But did you fall down and stuff?
No, I was like, what was that?
And what did he say?
He ran.
Huh.
Yeah. But I used to organize fight clubs. I think that is actually really nice. In Spanish, we are having the word...
Yeah, we did that in high school. Yeah, we did like a little fight club in high school.
I think in Anglo cultures, like, our language is not this way, but, like, we have a very, like, Anglo... Like, we have to look to another... It's ironic to speak this now, because we have to look to other cultures to find the word for a coup, right? But, actually, like, the bloodless revolution, you know? Like, look at political history of Anglo society. And, but in Spanish we've got this word chocar, which is like impact, like to impact on the world. And we are living these really dainty lives, like really very dainty, like not careful, very gentle with everything. But it's great to have like really feeling in the body something, like really feeling it touching you and going. Like it's nice. And sex is this. And this is where sex becomes like, but like, there is a kind of violence in sex. Not always, of course.
That's what I've heard.
But violence is, like, there can be a part of violence in sex. And like, it's not what I like. I like the softness in sex. But there is no one in sex who doesn't, you know, feel a kind of, I don't know, you can't speak for everyone.
Some would say that all sex is rape.
I said it.
Oh, you did?
I wrote it when I am little.
Really?
I have drawings from when I am little. I was like, yeah, clearly, obviously.
What did your parents think of that?
My parents were like not into my art.
You're an only child?
Kind of. My family actually is non-nuclear.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Like it is a close family. So, my cousin, we are like twins, my cousin. But I was actually accident and I've changed my birthday for that. Now it is on my conception day. And actually I am I'm actually a Pepsi.
Is it on your Wikipedia?
No, but can you change it?
Yeah, sure.
Would you do it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you want me to change it to?
It's November 5th,
That's your conception day?
1986.
It says you were born in 1988.
Is that right?
Well, nobody will know. Oh, no, it has...
It has 2 dates, I think.
No, yeah, August 14th, 1987.
And?
And 1988.
Right. But if you can change it...
Yeah, what do you want me to change it
It's
to?
November 5th,
I'll
19...
change it to whatever I want.
1986. No, change it for however you are wanting.
I'm going to change it to...
On Tinder, I am 102.
Wow.
It really changes who you have access to.
Yeah, who do you have access to as a 102-year-old?
Gold diggers. And
Really?
gold diggers and like the extraordinarily open-minded.
How do you know they're gold diggers? Maybe they just like elderly gentlemen.
Often it says, I am gold digger.
Oh, really?
Or like, if it says Snapchat, if it says, this is my snap.
Yeah, but that's like all girls on Tinder these days.
No, only the gold diggers. A lot of gold diggers.
Okay, look at, go to it now.
Okay, there is one more thing I want on my Wikipedia.
Did you see?
I like this! Thank you! Well, also my pronouns, it is wrong on here. My pronouns, it is supposed to be, I am using E pronouns. E, and ers. Which is like, because I'm an accent, I am in error, right? Actually, the correct pronunciation is to not to err. People saying to err, like often, like mischievous. No, it is mischievous, often, and But it is spelled lowercase x, capital E, lowercase x, capital E, E, and ers. Kind of like Xena, but with the X is silent. But I wish that there is a... Oh, awesome! But they took out... Because it used to say that I am known for transhumanism. But I don't like it. Someone listened that I am saying I don't believe in discrete objects, and they're like, oh, and like I care about extinctions or something, but this is, okay, here is a fundamental, moral disjuncture within our compass, our social compass, our collective moral compass. What do you think about it? Eating meat, it is not a problem that you can kill a baby and you can eat it. But to have sex with an adult, it is like totally taboo and not okay. Like, I am not someone who I've not done it, bestiality, but like, it strikes me as weird that it's fine to kill it and eat it, but totally not okay that you have sex with it.
Yeah, have you ever read Hellback?
Yeah, I have it here. And also, Edward Albee, the goat.
Did you read the latest one?
No, what is it? But they're talking about
Serotonin.
Serotonin, I'll get it. I have something to show you regarding Persephone.
My favorite Doris Lessing novel is The Golden Notebook, which is maybe the greatest modern novel.
I think the greatest modern novel... No, but I had not read it.
You have to read that. You have to read that.
Okay.
It's one of the best novels ever written.
Where should I start?
At the beginning.
What is the first line?
What is the first line?
Yeah.
I don't know, just get the book and read the first line.
You don't know the first line?
No, because it's not really that type of book. Like, it's very, the first section is in a way very banal.
Okay, what is the,
I'll find it. It's something like...
What do you remember most from the book?
there's what I remember most is her conversations with her psychoanalyst.
What did they say?
And she's like, the main character, she's like, she really doesn't want to stop having these sessions.
You are doing it? You are in therapy or psychoanalysis?
I see a therapist.
How often?
Once a week.
Nice.
But she's like, oh, so you're like the good witch that I have to summon on my shoulder whenever I'm in need.
Okay.
And then there's another part where she's talking about how, like, you know, the main character is a novelist, and she's talking about how when she reads the newspaper, she doesn't feel like there's any point in writing novels. And her psychoanalyst says, so don't read the newspaper.
Right, it's like that if it is hurting, stop doing that.
Yeah. I mean, the little snippets I'm giving to you are not really making it sound like such a great book. But
no, but
okay. But I'll tell you why it's a great book, right? Because okay, so a great novel in the 19th century is something like Anna Karenina, and you're looking at this huge swath of society. You're looking at aristocrats. You're looking at aristocrats turned terrorists. You're looking, you're looking mostly at aristocrats, but you're sort of able to, you're looking at soldiers, you're looking at people who are interested in farm work, you're looking at people who are just kind of bureaucratic busybodies, and just the verisimilitude of what you get on the page to the enormous drama that we're able to recognize as life itself creates, in me at least, a kind of ecstatic feeling. But with the modern novel, it's almost like we're just sort of not able to trust that omniscience anymore, you know?
Oh, but it is the unreliable, omniscient narrator?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it would just be hard for someone to trust a Leo Tolstoy in the 20th century.
But maybe a Sagittarius Tolstoy?
It's sort of a complicated question, but I'm just, you and the folks at home are just going to have to take it for granted that that's the case.
They're not at home. Home doesn't exist in 2021.
So what Doris Lessing has done in this novel is she's fractured her protagonist into these 5 different people that is able to cover the same swath of life, but just sort of by fracturing one person instead of painting on such a large canvas.
Okay.
So the conceit of the book is that the protagonist is writing in these 4 different notebooks. Yeah?
It is 4?
Yeah, so
that
she's
is,
writing.
Oh, Heideggerian.
There's like a red notebook, a yellow notebook, a blue notebook, a black notebook. And one of the notebooks, she writes about politics and her experiences growing up in Rhodesia.
But this is Bambuzo Marchera.
Could be.
Go.
I don't know. Yeah, in one notebook she writes a novel. In one notebook she writes about love and sex. And in one notebook she writes about money. And so it's just an incredible technique. And then the golden notebook is, as you can probably guess, the notebook in which she attempts to reconcile these different strands of herself. Really good book.
No, I'll read it tomorrow. How you are feeling when you not read the book?
Huh?
How do you feel when you have not read the book? Someone is and you have to say, I didn't read it.
What do you mean?
Like, but The Amazing House of Hunger by Bambuzo Marchera. It is the best novel. It is the most incredible. It won the Guardian Book Award. How do you feel?
I don't care.
Okay, review another woman writer.
No.
Review a trans writer. Review an indigenous writer. Become a trans indigenous woman writer? Oh, this is my Persephone.
Instead, I'll read to you from The Alchemy of Finance by George Soros. He's a Jewish writer. Does that interest you?
Jewish persons became white.
What about black Jews? Did they become white?
Nice question.
Thanks, bro.
Do you see what it is? Do you see what it is?
Hair-splitting logic.
Do you see what it is I'm holding?
It's either a nut or a beanbag. I don't know, one of those gross things you fucking make with your...
Persephone. Persephone.
Oh. It's a fruit. What's the name of the pomegranate?
Yeah. What happened to it?
You tell me, man.
No.
I like we've reached the point in the podcast where we just say no to one another's requests.
The first rule of improv, always say no.
Yeah, no, you always say no, exactly.
But this is a problem in my life, okay? That like all the time, very constantly, I'm having the feeling that I am the happy puppy jumping with joy onto a person with muddy paws. And they're like, fucking puppy! And they strike me with a mallet.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
I think that is what your life is like.
Yeah, constantly. And I am like, hi, do you want to see a puppet show? No! Bitch! No!
Yeah. Did you have a larger point you were trying to make there, or that was just expressing your feelings?
In terms of, like, negation, like, denegation, it is this. And, like, what is the effect? Like, what is it?
No, back up. What do you mean by that?
How does it affect a person to constantly be giving and to receiving negation? Like constantly you are in the world, not looking, not trying for getting, not believing in reciprocation, not looking for this, but looking for like, okay, like here I am doing giving. But the giving, maybe the giving is narcissistic.
Well, I think you have a different sense of what's valuable than a lot of other people.
What is valuable?
I don't know, man.
No, you know.
Do I?
But you are saying what it means when you say, I don't know, man.
Well...
It is dismissive?
Well, no, it was a little dismissive because I just wanted to finish my point.
Please finish.
But, you know what I mean? It's like, not every gift is well received.
No, but there is what are your strategies for gifting?
I try to I'm like, what is something this person will like?
What will you gift?
Usually a book. A long book, or maybe like a nice card. Oh, I'll try to write something really nice sometimes.
How do you construct the writing? Is it like, I like about you this?
Yeah, sometimes like that.
Very intimate.
Not necessarily intimate, but like just kind of, something that you think will make a person feel good. And then sometimes I'll try to be witty and like funny. Like, oh, maybe I'll make you laugh.
Okay, you have a sister?
No.
Really?
Yes, I have a sister. Her
Yeah.
name's Darlene.
Give her a gift. What will you give her?
I give her,
Ha-
she really loves woodworking.
Okay.
So I would give her this book, Cabins and Cottages.
You are well prepared.
Yes.
Okay. Because so that she can make herself a little house.
Yeah.
Is tailored to the person, the gift.
Ideally, yeah.
You will give the gift on the specific day, like a special gifting day. You will hoard.
No, I'm pretty bad. I mean, if I'm well, no, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just give somebody something. But then other times it's a holiday. You know? Like a birthday.
Today is a holiday.
It is.
Yes.
Well, Civil War Day?
No. Heretofore, yes. Heretofore, it will be remembered that the American economic political milieu experienced a collapse on the 12th night of the Christian calendar.
What is
When the three kings come to the little lake. 12th night. In Russia, it is called like Christmas, but in Russia it is because Russia is in a different time zone.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Russia just has a Christmas day. But we think it took 13 days, a baker's dozen, wrapping it up, full circle, that the kings arrived after Christ. He's already there for a baker's dozen. Can you hear yourself? Now I cannot hear now. It's actually really perfect later.
Trila sa mersi, zeni po
επιστρέψω μέσα στην αραβιά.